Welcome to Activities for Multilingual Families, a channel where we share ideas to help you foster your languages in a meaningful and engaging way. I'm Liven.
I'm Ucha.
And I'm Yoshito. As the end of the year is fast approaching, in many countries it is synonymous with exchanging greeting cards. Sending cards in all their languages shows our children that writing has a purpose in real life. And greeting cards bring joy to the receiver, and this can be very motivating. So in this video, we're going to explore the benefits of this tradition when it comes to fostering our toddlers, primary school age children, and teenagers' writing skills in all their different languages. And in your culture, do you also write greeting cards? Or when do you write them? Is it for the end of the year, for Christmas, any other festive event? Let us know in the comment below.
This is a great moment to get creative and probably a little messy with our young children. They might not be able to write yet, but they can color, draw, paint, cut and glue. If we feel like getting crafty with our little ones, there's lots of ideas we can find on the internet for their appropriate age. But of course, we can also make it easier on ourselves and buy a stack of ready-made cards and add our own touch to it. While we craft and write together, we can talk about the person we're making that card for, where they live, when was the last time we saw them or called them, and what we would like to say to them on that card. Then as we write on the card, we can point out at what we are writing. It's a great chance for young children to see the connection between words on a page and expressing a message. We can also show them particular words or letters if they're beginning to learn. For example, my daughter's name starts with the letter A, and she's starting to recognize it everywhere. So I reinforce it by saying, yes, that's the A, like in your name, or A, like in Anna, A, like in abacaxi, and so on. Children go through different phases of learning to write. So this is the perfect moment to invite them to write something. Let them do their best, let them scribble, praise them, even if what they make on the paper doesn't look like writing to you. Enjoy this process, encourage them. And this might be a wonderful tradition you're starting with your family.
In order to improve their writing skills, our children need to practice. But when our language is a minority language in the country we live in, it is sometimes difficult to find genuine reasons for our children to write. And even if they regularly attend a weekend school, it is very important that they practice outside of the school so that writing in the home language can be seen as useful in the real world and not just a school subject. And here's a little thing I would like you to keep in mind. When we write cards, as opposed to sending electronic messages, we can incorporate art and craft activities. And if your child is just starting to be able to write, do not overwhelm them with having to write too much. As Elisa has shown before, it can be more of an art and craft activity. I often mention the 80-20 ratio, and here again it is very important to keep in mind. If we want our children to enjoy an activity and come back to it in the future, we need to make sure that the effort they put in is minimal compared to the fun. So 20% of effort for 80% of fun. And here are a few tips to lift some barriers. Number one, start some time in advance. So there are probably many people your child wants to write to. So make sure that you start writing the cards early so that they don't feel like they have to write more than they are comfortable with. Number two, suggest to your child to write a greeting card straight after you've had a video call with a member of your family. That way, it will be very fresh in their mind who they are going to bring joy to. Number three, let them copy. Making mistakes can be daunting for some children, so feel free to write on a piece of paper what they're going to copy. You can of course ask questions and remind rules you have seen before.
En français, pour dire d'un an, on dit cher. Voilà. Comme ça. Mais attends, quand c'est une fille, qu'est-ce qu'on met à la fin, tu te rappelles? Oui, enfin on dit ouais. Ouais, cher.
When writing to many people, your child is likely to write the same thing many times. So feel free to create a template with different sentences that your child can choose from. And by the way, we previously made a video on the benefit of copying to develop writing skills, so we'll link this in the description below. If you celebrate Christmas, writing a letter to Santa can be incredibly motivating. You can simply start with, "Dear Santa, bring me," and then a long list of toys. Oh, by the way, there are lots of different beliefs around the world. So who brings presents to your child and for what events? Please share in the comments below. In England and France, Christmas is celebrated and it is a tradition for children to write to Santa Claus. So this is what we do with our children, and they know that Santa speaks all the languages in the world, and I'm using this excuse to get my sons to write in French and Korean. But let's be honest, why would they bother writing in their home languages if they're more comfortable writing the school language and Santa understands everything? So here are a few things we have done to help them write in French and Korean. Number one, if Santa understands that your child can read and write in the home languages, Santa will be able to choose from a wider range of toys. Some that are in the school language, some that are in the home language. Double the choice. Number two, if your child insists on writing their school language because it's easier or for whatever other reason, let them do it. But then send back a letter from Santa in their home language. And that will help them switch probably in the home language as well. 2 years ago, Santa sent back to my sons their letter that had been eaten by a reindeer. And because Santa wrote in French, my eldest wrote back in French. And if your child is also writing to Santa, are you also trying to find different ways for your child to write in their home language? If you do, share your ideas below.
When our children are teenagers, they probably already have a routine in writing seasonal greeting cards. Some might prefer the electronic version. There are several online sites that offer paperless greeting cards, also animated ones that are very fun to make. No matter the format, a minimum of writing is always required, and it is a great opportunity for our teenagers to get in touch with extended family and friends who live far away, but also those who live close by. Seasonal greeting cards add a touch of exclusiveness, especially because less people tend to write and receive handwritten letters or messages nowadays. To make writing greeting cards more interesting, our teenagers will probably not want to write the same sentence over and over and over again. They can write a poem related to the festivity or occasion, or copy one if they prefer. As our children might have friends with different cultural and linguistic backgrounds, what about inviting them to include poems or some sentences in their friend's language? Like Yoshito suggested for younger children, copying texts can be a fun way for our teenagers to explore a new language and find out how to write some words or sentences in a language they are not that familiar with yet. If they prefer sending virtual messages, what about recording a message in rap format or sharing videos of poetry slams about this time of the year?
Be nice to your turkeys this Christmas. Don't eat it, keep it alive. It could be your mate and not on your plate. Say, yo, turkey, I'm on your side.
It doesn't need to be traditional if they are not into it at the moment. They can take the opportunity also to celebrate the end of the year, for example, and send wishes for a new year instead. If we made writing seasonal greeting cards a habit, a tradition during this time of the year, it can be a precious shared writing moment that allows us to connect with our children, so not only with the receivers of our cards and messages. For some of us, writing seasonal greetings can be an important step to keep people who live far away in our life. We can share pictures of our travels, friends, places we like, stories about what we achieved, what we experienced this past year, and maybe add some photographs, drawings, or even videos or voice messages. Our teenagers have brilliant ideas on how to design this. Especially when our extended family only gets to take a short glimpse of our life during our usually rather short stays or their visits, These kinds of insights into our everyday life can be a very precious document for them. A lovely written or composed memory they can collect and look at throughout the year or years. With any kind of seasonal greeting message, we invite the receiver to continue the conversation, to take the opportunity to reply and maybe ask about where their picture was taken, or how the vacation was, what topics our children are interested in, what exams they will do next, what their future plans are. Seasonal greeting cards can be a real conversation starter, especially if done in a personalized way. They connect us with our dear ones, close and afar, and allow us to continue our conversations at least until the next time we meet.
Please let us know in the comments below what your family's end of year traditions are, and if you send greeting cards to your family members and friends.
If you like what we share here, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to be notified each time we publish a new video.
Have fun with
fun
your
Have fun
languages!
with your languages!